7 days with Lisa Hayes. With the price she pays, you'll be amazed. She's a national.
What can go wrong between exchange and completion? What is exchange of contracts? The exchange of contracts is where two legal entities representing you and the buyer swap contracts that are signed and the buyer deposits 10% of the agreed price. When this happens, the agreement comes into force and is legally binding. Which means neither you nor the buyer can pull out of the deal. Any party pulling out of the deal will face legal consequences. During the exchange of contracts, conveyancers or solicitors for both parties must make sure they have all the legal documentation for the completion of the transaction. These include a signed contract of sale, a signed transfer of title deed, TR1 form, a mortgage offer and buildings insurance policy, if applicable. The completion date. Since solicitors and conveyancers communicate over the phone, they will in most cases send signed contracts via email or post before informing you about the exchange. When does the exchange happen? Contracts are exchanged when the seller's and buyer's solicitor have all the requisite documents in place. Both parties will sign the same documents. The exchange of contracts will usually happen at a set time, bringing the contract into effect. In the case where either party is in a chain, solicitors will wait until all parties involved are ready to exchange contracts. As such, there may be delays in the exchange of contracts. What is completion? Completion refers to when the buyer passes the balance of payment for the property to your solicitor by bank transfer. At this point, this effectively transfers ownership of the house to the buyer. Therefore, as a seller, you must vacate the property by an agreed time on completion day, usually midday, and hand over all keys to their estate agent or directly to their buyer. How long between exchange and completion? One common question most sellers and buyers ask is, who is liable between exchange and completion? Well, it's no doubt the period between accepting an offer and exchanging contracts can be the longest. However, when exchanging contracts, the buyers and sellers' solicitors will agree on the date of completion. Since this is legally binding, you can sue a legal firm for failure to meet this date. As such, you can be almost sure of the completion date. Solicitors often set the completion date about 2 weeks after exchanging contracts. However, this isn't fixed. You can ask for more time if those in the chain aren't in a hurry to move. In some cases, people will complete it in under 2 weeks. Having a longer time can be advantageous because you have adequate time to arrange for removals, pack your possessions and arrange for any other essential works. Why is there a gap between exchange and completion? It's probable that you're asking, what are the risks of exchange and completion same day? Or can a house fall through between exchange and completion? Well, solicitors prefer a 7 to 14-day window between exchange and completion for the following reasons. Should exchange and completion happen on the same day, then there will be no commitment from either the seller or buyer. Should any of them opt to pull out, everything else will fall apart, and this can be costly for both parties involved. The window between exchange and completion gives room for final arrangements. It offers room for legal work to be undertaken. At this point, they will confirm your title. If the title is found to be defective, then the buyer can withdraw from the sale and not pay for damages. If you're in a chain, it's only sensible to make sure everyone is ready to proceed on the same day. As such, it's easier when the completion date is later than the date of exchange. If you're depending on external financing, you may have to give notice so you can draw down the funds before you can exchange contracts. It only makes sense to exchange contracts and complete the sale on the same day if you're ready to draw in the funds. Overall, the best way to get everyone ready in a chain is allowing a reasonable period between exchange and completion. What can go wrong between exchange and completion? Several things could go wrong between exchange and completion. So, what happens if buyer fails to complete after exchange? If this happens, remind yourself that many deals go through anyway. It's also important to know some of the things that may go wrong and what you can do when it happens to you. Wondering what can stop completion after exchange of contract? Here are 7 things that can go wrong between exchange and completion. Times you become redundant at work and lose your job. If you're declared redundant after exchanging contracts, it's advisable to inform your mortgage lender. At this point, your priority is finding another job. Moreover, you also face the risk of losing your deposit in addition to the costs you'll incur if the sale falls through. If you're working with a mortgage broker, make sure they know your situation and seek their advice on your next steps. Times withdrawal of your mortgage. This isn't a common occurrence. However, should your lender reach a decision to withdraw your current mortgage offer, then you can't complete the sale. If the completion date isn't too close, you may want to look for another loan. If the completion date is too close, then you won't complete the sale. Times seller goes bankrupt. You have no control over all circumstances. For instance, the seller may go bankrupt. Buying a house from a seller who is going through financial difficulty can be difficult. When this happens, you must discuss the legal implications and your position with the seller. Times dispute with the seller. In rare cases, problems may arise that you had not anticipated prior to exchanging contracts. For instance, some information may have been withheld or some questions weren't answered well. The dispute over purchase price may also be a hindrance to completion. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure to check out the blog post version for a lot more information.
If you're trying to sell but it's not going well, if you can't get a sale and the estate agent fell, now is the time for you to jump and praise. 7 days with Lisa Hayes. With the price she pays, you'll be amazed. She's a national cash buyer and she'll pay you much higher today.